Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be learning how to draft and sew a two-piece collar. So for making a two-piece collar, you must have already sewn your shirt already. So you just measure around the neckline of your shirt. That's where you're going to be putting your collar. So you measure around the neckline. So whatever you have, I measured mine on fold. Like I folded it into two and measured it. You can measure it round, but I'll be drafting it on fold, so there will be no need for that. So now I'm going to pin down my pattern paper to just keep it in place. So after that, I'm just going to draw a borderline, which you don't need to draw if there's no point, but I just did mine to just make it obvious that there's a line there for you both to be able to see. So now I'm going to be adding the half of the neckline measurement I measured. Then I'm going to take half of it. I'll divide it into two because that part is going to be for the back. So after that, I'm going to mark my collar stand away from the original measurement I marked. Now I'm going up by half an inch to just give it a curve. So that's from that half an inch, I'm going to mark 1 inch all the way down for my collar stand. So the 1 inch, I won't, from coming to the back neckline, I will use it. I will not go up by half an inch anymore, so I'll just be coming down. By the time I'm connecting it, you understand what I mean. So now I'm just going to be using a curve ruler to connect it because now it is curvy, it's no more straight. So from that half an inch that I went up by, I'm just going to connect it down. Then from that 1 inch that I marked from that part, I'll just connect it straight to the 1 inch that I marked all the way to the end. So now I'll just draw the straight line, then I'll curve the button stand. You know there's going to be a button stand for your shirt, so I'm just going to cover the button stand. So this part is indicating my button stand. So for my collar, I'll go up from this collar stand now by 1 inch, then I'll connect it to the part where my button stand is starting from. You know the collar will not start from the other edge, it's going to start from this button stand. That's where your other collar is going to start from. So from here, I'll just go up by 2.5. You can actually do 2 inch. I think the 2 inch would have been better because mine was a little bit big. So I'll just mark the 2.75 was what I used. I marked it all the way. Just mark it all the way. I'm going to mark it all the way to the original line that I used in drafting my collar. But when I want to connect the slant of the collar, I'm going to connect it to the button stand. So now just do the straight line. So I marked this part straight down first of all before I slanted it, or you can as well just slant it direct now to the button stand. So this is what I did. I just slanted it now to the button stand. So the other parts that I traced out is not important. So now I've successfully drafted out the two-piece collar. And what you have to do now is to just cut it out. So I cut mine out and I transferred mine to another pattern paper and added ½ inch round. You can do that directly to your fabric, but I just wanted to pin it to my fabric before adding. I just wanted to pin it to my fabric already with the patterns already added, the seam allowance already added, sorry. So I just went up, and so for the middle of my collar, I actually came down by like 0.25 to just give it a little bit of slant at the middle. But if you want yours straight, however you want your shape to be, you can go with it. So I just pinned it down and added the ½ inch for joining at all the parts except the middle part, the middle back. The center back, you don't need to add anything because I just cut it like that because you don't need any allowance at the center back of your collar, just the front, the center front. So now I've already ironed my interfacing on my fabric. So and I cut it out. I cut out the pattern I've already cut it out with the pattern. So now I'm going to proceed to sewing. You can use any choice of interfacing you want. If you want your collars very strong, you can use a strong collar stay, strong paper stay, anyhow. However you want your collar to be, if you want it very strong, the interfacing that you use will determine how strong you want it to be. So mine, I didn't want it really too strong, so I didn't use that hard interfacing. So now you just have to sew it all the way round, so all the edges of the collar. Then I'll trim out the excess and iron it out. Remember we added ½ inch for the joining, so you just sew on the ½ inch and trim out the excess so that by the time you want to iron, it will lay flat for you. So now I'm just going to turn it out. Make sure that you turn out the sharp edges very well. Then I'll proceed to the ironing table to iron it before I sandwich it with my collar stand. So this is the collar. I'll just go and press it down first. So now I've pressed it down. What I will do now is to trim out any excess at the under of the collar before sandwiching the. I'll first of all mark the middle for my collar as well as the middle of the collar stand. So I'm trimming out those little excesses. Make sure that you don't trim up to ½ inch. This is because this is quite tiny, it's not up to 0.25. So I'll just mark the middle of the collar. Then I'll mark the middle of the collar stand as well. I've already marked mine. Okay. Make sure that you know the direction where the collar stand is pointing so it doesn't confuse me, because it almost confused me. But you will know by the time you turn it to the good side of it. So now I just arranged it the middle to the middle, and the other side of the collar stand I will use it to sandwich this, which means the collar is going to be in between the collar stands. One part of the collar stand will be going to one part of the collar, then the other side will sandwich the other. So you just have to sew it in between. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll be sewing it. Make sure that the collar gets to the part where you are sewing, so you don't just sew only the collar stand separately. So I'll just curve it to the shape of the collar stand. I do the same for the other side as well. Then you trim out any excess to enable it to relax. Trim out any excess. Then I'll go to the ironing table and iron it very well. Make sure that your collar stand is quite curvy. So I'll just go to the ironing table and iron the collars before coming back to fix it on my shirt. So you'll be folding it. By the time you want to fix it on your shirt, you'll be folding it inside the shirt. So I've already ironed it and I notched the middle again. Then make sure that you notch the middle of the neck of your shirt as well. So the middle is going to the middle part of the collar, so that there will be no excess by the time you are done sewing or shortage. So now you can pin it round first of all, but for this side I'm just going to sew it. Then when I'm done, I'm going to pin the one I'm going to use to cover the collar, the inside sewing of the collar. So I'll just sew it all through. Remember, it's in two parts, so you are not going to sew the other part. Just give it a little bit. So this is what you will do. You tuck it in by the time you are done. So I will just sew the other side as well. So by the time I'm done, I'm just going to tuck this part of the collar in smoothly. I'll use my pin to hold it down. Please make sure that you use your pins so that it won't be rough by the time you are done. So just use your pins to hold it down against the other collar, and make sure that they are in the same line, so you don't sew one part and the other parts are popping out by the time you are done. So by the time you are done pinning, you just, on where you pinned, make sure that you just sew, and make sure that the thread is catching both the one at the front and the back. So when I was done sewing my collar, I actually ran another stitch around the upper part of the collar. So if you like, you can leave it this way. Like this is already fine, but if you want to add more stitches, you are free to, even at the upper part of the collar. So guys, that's all for the stitching of a two-piece collar. Please guys, kindly like this video and subscribe to my channel to support the channel. It's free. Thank you guys, thank you so much for your support. Thanks to all my returning viewers and subscribers, I'm really grateful. So guys, I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye guys.